Yes, now, and welcome back to episode 168 of the Top Loaded podcast. And a massive thanks for everyone tuning in yet again and the great support on the last episode. And before I get into the talking points and discussions for this week, make sure you head over to the guys over at Third Down UK who are powering up this episode of the Top Loaded podcast. Whether you need card supplies, custom card stand, great preparation kits, or whatever hobby needs you require, head over to their website, check the link in our bio, and check their shop. But also, while you're there, use the code TTP10 at checkout to save 10% off your complete order. And there's been a few different talking points this week, a few bits I want to discuss, as well as just update people on as well. And the first one, I know it sounds like a broken record because everyone knows me for being a women's collector, but I personally think it's quite worrying times. We are in the 8th of October. That's 10 months into the year. And we're getting to a point now where we've not heard one thing about women's chrome. And that is concerning for me because, for context, the Women's Champions League final last year was the 24th of May. That is over 4 months ago. That campaign finished, and we've not had women's chrome or sapphire. We've not heard anything about it either. And my question is to everyone who's watching of, have they axed women's chrome? Have they got rid of it? Is it done? Is it finished? Are they not releasing women's products? Or have they managed to keep it under wraps and not told anyone? I've spoke to a few different people, this side and that and the other side of the pond, to see if they've heard anything, and they've not heard anything. They've not heard anything at all, which is weird because with like UCC Chrome or whatever Topps release it is, you normally hear at least a month before, if not 2 months before. And there's nothing. There's no rumours, there's no sales sheets, there's no nothing at all. And I weren't going to ramp. I'm going to ramp because, to be honest, as someone whose main interest in this hobby is women's cards, it is not good enough, in my personal opinion, if they do scrap chrome. I'm hoping I'll get proved wrong and I'm an idiot and then they release pictures of what's coming out or whatnot. But it is not good enough if they've just scrapped women's chrome. It's an absolute fundamental pillar of the women's collecting group and society that it's our one big set each year. All right, we got Euro Merlin this year, but it weren't the best of releases. All right, you might get Knockout. Okay. However, we have not got Chrome. And obviously, in line with that, we've not got Sapphire. And I personally believe it'll be one of the biggest disgraces in the hobby within the last 10 years. I don't care. People might say, oh, you're going over the top. It's not fair if you bring out 400 different sets for UCC. You're going to be bringing out 200 different sets for Premier League. You're bringing out all different sets for basketball now, which I'll talk about later on because I'm actually really looking forward to them sets. But surely you've got to keep women's chrome. Where is it, Topps? Come on. Please announce when you're giving us women's chrome. Or if not, say that you're not doing it for whatever reason. Yes, people say, but Ronnie, you're going to be saving a lot of money. I am going to be saving a lot of money, but why would it have to be the 1 year that the Arsenal women's team win the Champions League when there's actually cards coming out? They're not going to give us the set. I've had all these plans in place, the different sets I want to put together, but no, nothing at all as it stands. So as of recording this, which is the 8th of October, when this comes out, it's just not, there's no news. And I think it could be a big, big shame for the women's hobby. Before doing this episode, I spoke to a lot of the women's collectors that I know to ask them what their opinion is. And it's a very, very it's a situation that a lot of people agree on. Of there is no excuse not to bring out women's chrome, but at least let us know if it is not coming out. Because, for example, there's no chance on this green earth that they wouldn't bring out UCC chrome. You just know it won't happen. But where is the women's chrome? It should be coming out near enough at the time of the season. You shouldn't be waiting for half a year afterwards. But where is the set? Where is it? Because we want the set, please, Tops, if someone out there knows something more about the set, please let me know. I can let people know. I will try and I will personally be trying to talk to Tops or talk to people who know Tops to see if we can get more information on when this set is coming out, because we want the set. We need the set for us women's collectors, but we've had no information at all. So hopefully by the next episode in a couple of weeks' time, I'll be able to come to you and say, since last episode, it has now been announced that it's coming out on X, Y, and Z. This is what we're getting. This is how much it is. This is how many cards are in the set. These are the cards we're looking for. However, as of speaking right now, no women's set this year. Well done, Tops. I think it's absolutely horrendous, but obviously there must be reasoning behind it, or they're just keeping it a secret and they're going to announce it soon. Hopefully it's that option. But now I'm going to talk about, I know obviously some people won't be as interested in this as others, so feel free to skip past this section. But briefly, I'm going to start talking a bit about basketball. It's one of my passions. I do love basketball. I go to British basketball all the time, but a massive admirer of the NBA as well. And for people who don't know, at the beginning of October, October 1st, was the official turnover day that Topps/Fanatics gained the license to the basketball in the NBA, and Panini therefore lost it. For people who don't know, Panini have been putting out some of the greatest sets of a generation in the past 2 to 3 weeks, because they had a lot of autograph stickers to use up. They had a lot of jerseys, match-worn jerseys to use, and they've gone out with a bang. Anyone who knows NBA knows these sets are fantastic. Some of the cards in it will be generational in terms of these will do silly numbers on the resale market, especially when they grade well. We're talking for people who do know basketball. These names, some of you should know: dual color brass, LeBron James, Steph Curry, NBA Finals edition. You're talking LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, dual color blast. Kevin Love, NBA Logo Man, Christmas Day match. Steph Curry, the finals patches. These kind of cards that are grails for thousands of people, and are some of these cards, I'd compare them to the Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan authentics, upper deck authentics from the early 2000s. Of these cards are like, people will look at these cards in 20 years' time and be, oh, I really wish I had that card. Panini seem to have gone out on a bang, which is fantastic. I think they had to as well. Obviously, losing the license is a big shame. I personally am a big fan of Panini's cards. I like Topps' as well. I will be talking about that coming up after this section. But for anyone who hasn't seen, there's been a few releases. Prism Black was one of them. Shorter print version of Prism, 5 autographs per box. Stunning set, fantastic looking set, great parallels, low numbered, everything above. Just a great release. Eminence come out, which was $40,000 a box. Some mental cards in it, but you, no disrespect, if you're paying $40,000 for a box, you should be getting mental. For that, I'll be expecting to get some courtside tickets for a match included in it. Flawless as well, immaculate. All the big name sets all come out within a 6 to 8 week period, and all smashed it out the park. However, now it has officially been confirmed that within the next 2 weeks, there will be the release of NBA Topps. There'll be 2 different formats of it. There will be a £100 hobby box, and there will be a £205 jumbo box, which is similar to the UCC Chrome of you just get a few more extras in the jumbo comparison to the normal. There will be a launch event for this at the Fanatic store on the 23rd, I believe it is, of the 23rd of this month in October. You have to apply via their Instagram page to try and win your spot in it. I'm hoping to be there. We'll have to take a day off work for it, which any excuse. But being a big basketball fan, I feel like that's something that will grow a lot more in the UK, especially with the upcoming London game in January, and then as well as Manchester in a couple of years' time as well. But looking at that set, it's something that I think people have been critical with, critical with the Premier League sets. They've used their brain really well with this set, and Some of the images they picked are fantastic. For people who don't know, in American sports, the top player each year is called the MVP. And Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, who won the NBA championships this year, was in fact the MVP as well. His picture is him celebrating winning the MVP. You got Dwayne Wade, one of the absolute legends of the game, who played for Miami Heat, most known for his time at Miami Heat. One of his famous shots is now on a picture. You've got some legends as well in the Chrome Legends auto checklist, names of Shaquille O'Neal, Larry Bird, Pau Gasol. That's just to name a few as well. And it looks stunning. Obviously, it's a massive checklist. The odds of making your money back is very little, but it's a very good rookie year as well. The number one player in the draft this year was Cooper Flagg. Absolutely incredible talent, and will be demanding a high premium. Obviously, as I say with everything, like the Premier League set that's come out, with any other set, Chrome is around the corner at some point, and them the first year supers are going to be crazy. To think Victor Wembanyama's never had a licensed NBA card with an autograph on it. LeBron James hasn't had one for decades now as well. These cards are going to be big, big money, and I can't wait for it. So let me know if you are debating going in for that, or you're just looking forward to the NBA release. Let me know, because I'm trying to expand more into the basketball world, potentially try and do some content around it as well. So that I'm really looking forward to this release. I think it's going to be one of them that it's going to judge us what we're going to see as well. Because for people who don't know, the NFL license with Panini is expiring very soon as well. So within the next year, I believe the NFL will be going to Topps as well, and Topps really have the full market share then. But I'm really looking forward to the release. I think it's fantastic. It looks very good. My favorite player, D'Angelo Russell, who's in the NBA, who I do PC, he's made the set for Brooklyn Nets. Obviously now at the Dallas Mavericks, but it's a lot cheaper than Nets than the Mavericks. But yeah, there's some big name players, which I'm looking forward to. Some of Luka Doncic's first Lakers card still, obviously, because he traded halfway through last season. But no, really looking forward to basketball. Hoping to be able to get to the release day at the Fnatic store on Regent Street come the 23rd of October. And if you are planning or have entered the ballot for that, make sure you enter the ballot as well for the London Card Show Trade Night, which will be on the same day. So that will be in the daytime, and the London Card Show Trade Night is in the evening. So apply for that one as well, and you might be able to do the afternoon and evening at the Fnatic store, which I'm hoping to do. The first trade night was a great blast. Even if you're not there to try and trade, bring a few cards down with you, but it's nice to meet fellow collectors again, share a drink, have a snack with them, and just get to know people more as well. That was one of my highlights of the event. I think that was absolutely fantastic. But obviously, moving away from basketball, because I know that does bore quite a lot of people, we're going back to football now, and I'm quite intrigued with a lot of pricing I'm seeing. And I know there's been the ongoing for the year is Lamine Yamal's prices, Lionel Messi's prices. These two players' markets are mental. Obviously, you got to remember, come June and July in 2026 is the FIFA World Cup in Mexico, Canada, and the United States of America. And the crazy thing is, as it stands, the day of the final at MetLife Stadium, which is in New Jersey, is Fanatics Fest in New York, which seems quite crazy to think. But as well as this, you got to think that the National will be 2 weeks after the FIFA World Cup final in America. So I think there's a lot of optimism around that, and I think you hear it quite a lot, but I might hold it for the World Cup. And I think quite a lot of people in America are doing the same thing of they're buying cards to save for the World Cup because they think there's going to be a lot more demand, which it should be when the world's greatest show is coming to your country. No, we're not talking about the Super Bowl. We're talking about the true thing of the World Cup, which is going to have an impact on the American market, no doubt. There'll be quite a few people who watch a game. Obviously, it's very expensive to go to the games, but even watching them at home, wanting to get into football cards, remember as well what I try and tell a lot of people. Remember next year, World Cup Prism is going to be crazy. Panini is one of their only true licenses left. Americans release American World Cup. Obviously, the first time since the early 90s. So that's going to be a crazy set, especially some of the American players in that. But someone said to me the other day, if you look at Lamine Yamal's prices, he's injured at the moment and they're still going for so long. Obviously, they've called off a tad because he's not playing. But for him to be still so strong, it shows you how much American money is being invested into Lamine Yamal. Because early doors, quite a few people in Europe was buying Lamine Yamal. I know a few people that are buying them who moved him on, but then, in fact, wish they kept him because he's gone up so much in price. And someone said to me, and it was quite an intriguing question, and I'll be intrigued to see how people see about this as well. If you had, say, £5,000 to invest in a player, I give you Lamine Yamal, I give you Lionel Messi, or another player. Most people would then I would say Cristiano Ronaldo or someone like that. But my question was Lamine Yamal or Lionel Messi. Who would you rather invest in? And personally speaking, my answer shocked quite a few people. I think a lot of people was expecting me to say Lionel Messi, but I said Lamine Yamal for the sole fact of if say for example the first Spanish game at the World Cup, he's cuts in off the right wing and whips one in the top left hand corner. His market is going to absolutely erupt again. That's my personal opinion. Obviously, none of this is financial advice. People might disagree, but there will be some players who have such a good World Cup, have one good game, score one unbelievable goal, have one memorable moment that will shape the market of their cards forever. And I think it's quite optimistic. It's quite exciting to see. And I feel like I'm going to live my life on Card Ladder during the World Cup, just watching prices go up and down because I think a good example, and I'm sure people would agree with me out there, during the 2022 World Cup, obviously, which was in Qatar, one Portuguese player absolutely erupted in the market. Is now to be fair to him, now a Champions League winner, which is Goncalo Ramos. When he got in the starting 11 and benched Cristiano Ronaldo at the beginning, his Merlin Chrome cards absolutely skyrocketed. I'm talking there was 299s gone from £4 to £70. His oranges were doing like 400. I think a red one of his sold for like £1,500, and that's what the World Cup can do. It can take someone from obscurity, no one's heard of, no one collects them, to wow, I want his cards. People are scavenging through their old collections to see if they've got any lying around, and that's what I can't wait for the World Cup. And there's going to be a lot of players now that you look at a car and go, I won't, I'm not buying that for a tenner. Could come to next World Cup and it's £200 or something like that. But that's what I think going to be really intriguing to watch and monitor from now until the World Cup. Different price changes. Obviously, it helps now having all the top leagues back, the Champions League back as well. Obviously, has big effects on price, despite being another international break. Thanks, FIFA. We don't want more international breaks. However, they did just announce at the beginning of the next season there's a 2-week international break, and they're going to combine September and October. 2-week international break. Gives some strength during that one. But yeah, so prices are very interesting at the moment. Obviously, for me, I'm more of an expert in the women's side of it, but I still follow the men's stuff and see the prices doing very well. And the one thing that I've seen quite a lot recently, which it's going to sound weird, but it warms my heart really, is that some of the old sets really getting the love. Obviously, 2014 World Cup Prism is arguably the most, in my personal opinion, it's the most iconic set ever. It's a true start of the modern era of cards. And seeing I think there was a sale on a Neymar Jr. gold this week at like $5,000. That's good to see that people are going back to them old sets and collecting the cards, because there's no guarantee Neymar will be at the next World Cup. I think he will be, obviously injury dependent. But it's nice to see that set getting the love it deserves. And even like some of the cards, even after that 2018 World Cup Prism in Russia is starting to go up a bit in value as well. And I think what they done really well for that was they actually had like a very short printed thing of players with the actual name in Russian. I think that should be a trend for every World Cup where it's a different language, or do something that is unique for that World Cup. So why not have, when it was in Qatar, They could have had it in Arabic, the names, or in America, obviously, you can't do it in English because it's just going to be the same. But do something unique for that World Cup, and people will collect it. It was like when they done for the anniversary of the Premier League, they done the purple and white prism. People started collecting it, and then they just brought it in every year, and then everyone's like, "Yeah, no, it's not as good anymore, mate." But yeah, I think that's going to be quite intriguing. I'm really looking forward to the World Cup as well. I was debating flying out for it, but then I see the prices, and I was like, "You're probably looking at 1,000 for a ticket." Probably looking 1,500 to 2,000 for flights. And then you're probably looking 1,000 for accommodation. For 3.5K, I'd rather take that $3,500, fly to America 2 weeks after the World Cup final and go to the national, and it would be cheaper and more fun. But moving on to that, moving away from pricing and World Cup, looking forward to it. Another couple of talking points. I don't want to take everyone's time too much, so it'll be about 10 more minutes left of this episode. I was going to do an update on grading, but I've kind of lost faith in grading. Everything just getting pushed back. However, there was one announcement this week, and I think a lot of people, and I'm going to show an example here of one thing that I love what PSA do, which is niche tickets. I love tickets. I think they're great display piece, and I love getting credit. I've got 8 graded tickets to my side here. I've got another 12 at grading at the moment. But PSA have announced this week, obviously, it's not new. You could get these graded before, but now PSA are doing it. You can grade video games and DVDs and also CDs. I believe it has to be sealed. I could be wrong. I think it might be a higher grade if it's sealed, but don't like hold me to that one. And this has got me thinking. I'm personally, you can see in the background of every one of my podcasts is my PlayStation 5. I'm a massive gamer. I have been since the age of 4. And I've no doubt a lot of people would agree about me. I'm just talking about video games at the moment. Not we can bring back music. So I'm a big music fan as well. I and everyone else, I believe, who are true gamers have moments, memories, passions of certain games. Just being tired of your memories of how good this game is, how good that was, and some of them to see great. Like, for example, a couple of my ideas. There's usually a game called Midnight Club, which was a racing game and card creation game. Absolutely love that game. And I see one graded the other night, and it got me thinking, like, how cool is it that, and this is the segue into this next talking point, because I think it's quite intriguing that someone will see something and go, that's really cool. And they have no idea about cards, video games, CDs, DVDs, tickets, comics, whatever it may be. And it shows you that this hobby that we all love, there's a reason why we love it. It's because it opens up feelings and emotions as well. I've had it all the time. For example, I'll give you this example here where it's sitting on my desk. This great ticket that I bought from a very good friend, Fab, Tickets and Slabs. If you haven't heard him, make sure you find one of the best ticket collections in the world. This here is one of my favourite films of all time, and one of my favourite actors as well, in Cillian Murphy. Oppenheimer, what a film that was. If you haven't watched it, I recommend watching it. I've watched it 3 times and I want to watch it again. This ticket was from the British premiere of the film, where Cillian Murphy, Matt Damon, Robert Downey Jr. are all in attendance in 2023. But I had this on my side, like this. And someone that I was just talking to went, wow, that is really cool. Like, how'd you get that? What is it? That's like a really nice display piece. And I went, that got me thinking of how much more these cards are. These are pieces of artwork. These are such a good talking point as well. And I've always had it planned that one day when I have my own place, is I will have stuff on display, especially in the cards world, that whether it's cards, it's tickets, comics. I've got a couple of comics behind the screen what I want to get graded, video games, and it just shows you that even for people who know nothing about cards, have no interest in cards, do appreciate them as well. And with the honestly, the exponential growth of the hobby in Britain, Europe, and the world at the moment, especially with the help of all these influencers and creators, I truly believe this is just the beginning. I know it might sound cliche or cheesy, whatever it may be, but what has been built here for, I would say, 20 years, but mainly in the last 10 years, is wonderful. The community aspect of it's fantastic, and people are realizing that now. The people you meet along the way, the story. For example, one of the stories I would have for thanking my background here is this Yankees pendant, which I got gifted to me by Real Harry's World when we was at the National, because we're both big Yankees fans, and we see it at the National on the last day. And it's just how you can tie stuff to memories. And I think everyone will have it with certain items. I could pull a couple here, for example. This would be another good example here. This is a Katie McCabe first year Crow Orange Wave to 25. And I bought this at the Dublin Card Show from the very nice guys over at Soccer Cards United, who have got a great podcast. Do go and check that out. But for me, this holds so much sentimental value as well, that I bought one of my favourite players of all time, who's the Irish captain, Irish legend, one of the biggest Irish sporting legends of all time, at an Irish card show. And it just ties down stuff like that. Another one here, for example, let me pull this one here. Funny enough, it's another Katie McCabe card, but I got this in a deal with a very good friend as well. And then I could even go down to, say, this one here of this one was from Troy. Obviously, a very good friend of the podcast. We need to get him back on to talk for him, but happy belated birthday to him as well. But the memories you keep with cards and everything like that, it makes everything worth it in the long run. Like, you work so hard, 9 to 5, through the night, wherever it may be, and the release that you get from cards and the memories that you make makes it all worthwhile. And I think some of these creators are learning that as well. Of, you're not just in it for the cards; you're in it for the experience, the jubilation of pulling something, the excitement of waiting for something to arrive, the meeting someone in cards that shares the same passion as you, or meeting someone in cards that you have so much enjoyment. For example, I've always been a massive fan of Randolph, and I got to meet him at one of the London card shows, and it was just a really nice moment to be able to talk to him. Same with like meeting Tosin for the first time. But this hobby is a lot more than just the cards. And people might say, "Oh, you're rambling on, you're being cheesy," but personally, you meet a lot of good friends through this hobby, and I think a lot of people are realizing that now. And this hobby is only still taking off. It's so many more people to come into it in the UK. And I can't wait for the future of cards. I think it's going to be great fun. I would like to say I've been doing this for 168 episodes now. It'd be 3 years, I think, in 4 years. I think it might be 4 years next February that this podcast has been going. And for how it's grown in this time, it's been absolute joy and fun. But like I say, a massive thanks for everyone listening along. I'm planning for a guest in the next episode, so do pay close attention to that one, because that should be quite a good fun. But like we say, card season's back on. All the car shows are ramping up, but the most important one, obviously, is at Sandown Racecourse on the 31st of October to the 2nd of November. And before I finish this episode, I've just got to say, if you haven't already, go over to the London Card Show Instagram page and check out the floor plan for the XL. Oh my God, that looks amazing. It honestly reminds me of the National. And I think that's the biggest compliment I can pay to the team. I can't wait for that show next year. That's been booked in my calendar for ages. But a massive thanks yet again for every single person around the world who's tuning in for this podcast. Hope everyone out there is buying, selling, trading, all that good jazz. A massive thanks for the guys over at Third Down UK for powering up this episode of the Top Loaded Podcast. Whether you need card supplies, custom card stands, great preparation kits, or whatever your hobby needs require, head over to their website, check out their shop, or use the link in the bio and use the code TTP10. That is TTP10 at checkout to save 10% off your whole order. But until next time, hope you're buying, selling, trading, and all that good jazz. But most importantly, happy hobbying and good night.